Shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel. Let us give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Recha, Kwadash, and double honor to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Peace and salutations again to the hopeful elect of Israel. 130 so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, West Indians, Haitians, so-called, and the rest of the rest of the speckled bird. Those that may look like the other heathen nations, but your bloodline go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through the seed of your father. To you, I say peace and salutations. At camp this week, the one of the brothers of the camp, Azaria, one of the brothers that's been in it for a minute, through spirit and power that he endured, we all endure, to the end, which is going to be the beginning of our, new kingdom through Yahweh Shai. Actually, Yahweh Shai's new kingdom, or Yahweh Shai's kingdom. Hopefully we endure, all of us, Baba Kashah. He brought up how Billy Graham, right? he in the spirit world. He was bringing up a list of all these characters that was, of times past, within this, generation that's been in the spirit world a while. It's 11:44. Call like Yahweh Shin Shah. I just called it. But he brought it up, and it flashed me back to this AI generated message that they had pulled up. Matter of fact, I might call this AI generated AI. Well, it was my phone. I thought it was the AI. AI got Billy Graham speaking the truth from the grave or something like that. I don't know, but check this out, though. I'm gonna just play it. I don't play it. This is for edifying, educational purposes only. I don't get any money off this. Salakia family. Get up on my rest. But yeah, it's kind of interesting because what they're going through. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show this part. Look at this. It says, black people are the descendants of Shem. Billy Graham speech. Look at that, man. Ain't that beautiful, man? I mean, the thing is, of course, you got take the meat off the bone and throw the bones away, right? But overall, in totality, when you think of us, when you think of the people, the children of Israel, you think of Africans. You think of black. You think of where do I want to go? Because I don't got my wisdom power. You know what? Let me see if I can do that. Play stir. Y'all gonna let me do it? You think of going through slavery, locked in chains and things of this nature, right? That's what you think of. That's what they told you. That's what they told us we were. That's what they told us. That's all we were good for. That we came over just to be slaves. We were slaves in our past lives. We were slaves. And to an extent, they're absolutely right. But why? Why were we slaves? We're gonna get that. We're gonna get it. And I hope this hurry up and process and everything. We're gonna get that. If you're a so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Indian, West Indian, Haitian, this is information that you should know. This is information that if you're of the elect, because we're only concerned about the elect. If you are of the elect, this is information that's gonna broaden your horizons and help you to seek your power, right? Your destiny. Help you to seek Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which are the true names of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. All right? And it starts there. I'm going to go here. Genesis chapter 49. Let me go here. Let me ask a question. There we go. The lineage. Here's a more detailed look at the lineage, right? You had Noah, who's the patriarch of the line after the flood, right? Noah had 3 sons, named first among his sons in the Bible. Or Shem was named first among his sons in the Bible, all right? Then they go to Arpachshad, Shem's son, then Shelah, Arpachshad's son, then Eber, Shelah's son, Peleg, right? Eber's son, Ru, Sirug, Nahar, Terah, right? You know Terah. Terah had Abraham, right? And from Abraham we get who? Isaac and Jacob. This is the seed. This is the bloodline of the promise. All right? Starting with Shem. This is the bloodline of the promise. This lineage demonstrates that Jacob, who would later be renamed Israel, is a descendant of Shem through numerous generations. All right? And Shem did not look like this guy right here in the corner. That's a false depiction of who Shem looked like. All right? But this is the bloodline. All right? Shem. And then who did Jacob have when his name was turned into Israel, right? He had Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Matter of fact, let me pull it up. Of course, I could go to Genesis and I can go to Revelation, right? Because Dan isn't going to be a part of that. Let's go to okay. Okay. Salakia. Let's go to I'm gonna go to Revelation. Yep. Revelation 7. I'm kind of going backwards, but hey, I just hope the edification go out. All right? Matter of fact, I'm going to say that. Say that. Let's go here first. In Genesis. Genesis chapter 49. And Jacob called to his sons and said, gather yourselves together that I may tell you what shall befall you in the last days. Right? What's going to happen to you in the last days? Okay? Jacob was a prophet. He was a man of the Lord. And he was telling his sons what's going to be an outcome toward the end of the days, as it's written, right? Declaring the end from the beginning. This is all the Lord's doing. The Lord was declaring the end from the beginning, and he's had prophets on the earth since the beginning of time. Genesis. We're in the beginning of the books, of the collection of books that was given to the children of Israel, and only meant for the children of Israel to understand, to comprehend, to break down, and to preach this gospel to the end of the world. All right, Matthew 24. All right, he says, Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben, that was his firstborn. Then you go down. Simeon and Levi. Keep going. Judah. Keep going. Zebulun, Issachar, Dan, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, and Joseph had 2 sons that became a part of the 12 tribes in the end. Because Dan is not really spoken about in the end times, but he was replaced. Manasseh and Ephraim became a part of those 12 tribes. Through Joseph. And Benjamin. All right, I think that was the last one. And Benjamin. And all these are telltale signs of the people that we have on the 12 signs chart, or the 12 tribes sign chart that was given to us from our beloved elders and apostles and their elders, starting with the beloved elders Abba Bivens. Okay, and no other time on earth was this spoken about, was this preached, was this taught about, until the Lord put the Spirit on the Hebrew Israelites to know they were Hebrew Israelites. And then you get guys like this in the last days, right? Through AI generated, or whatever you want to call it, bringing this out. Matter of fact, before I go there, this is the beginning. The 12 tribes of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, West Indians, and Haitians. I'm gonna say the respected areas for all these 12 tribes. What's going to happen to them in these last days? Reuben is better known as Slakia, the Seminole Indian. Slakia family. This is bad. I apologize. I apologize sincerely. Reuben is known as the Seminole Indians. All right. He was over here with Gad, right, and Issachar before Esau Edom came over here. And he started messing up a lot of shit around here. All right, the Northern Kingdom. The Northern Kingdom came over here after the captivity of Assyria, after they went to the Assyrian captivity. All right, you can read about that in 2nd Esdras. All right, I believe that's what, chapter 13. You can also read about that in 2 Kings, chapter 17. It's been a while since I went over it. Let me see. 2 Kings 17. Yeah. 2 Kings chapter 17. It goes into the capture of the Northern Kingdom. How the Northern Kingdom went into the being captured by the Assyrians. Go down. Yeah. You can read all of this too. 2 Kings chapter 17. All right. That tells you about how we went into captivity. And then this one is in get that. A second. Esdras 13. Let me see, pop up on them. Around what? So 40. Yep, they talk about the 10. Yep. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. And they took his counsel, and they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where neither mankind dwelt. And that was here in America, right? The western hemisphere of the world, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. All right. And who's that? That's Issachar. That was good at reading the signs, the moon and the stars. Right. Issachar, one of the 10 tribes, is so-called the Mexicans. All right. For through that country there was a great way to go, nearly a year and a half, and the same region is called Ashereth. Then dwell they there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come. All right. So that's here in America. Until the latter time. They do it until the latter time. Until it came time for what? What was the latter time? Let's get it. Back in Genesis. Back to Genesis 49. Again, Genesis chapter 49, verse 1. And Jacob called his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days, the latter times. The times we're in right now. And since the 1400, since the 14th century, the 15th century, the 14 to 1500s, then when Christopher Columbus and all those the Edomites, them wicked ass Edomites started coming, the so-called white man came over here and started putting our people in slavery. You know, they put the Northern Kingdom in slavery first. They came over here and started shipping them off to Spain. Okay. And France and you know, Britain. You know, but mainly Spain, because that was like the Spanish conquest during that time. And then they you know, on the west coast of Africa, they found so-called Negroes, or Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You know, the Spanish, the French, mainly the French and the British, or the British and the French. And they brought us over here to this side of the world, which all these sons of Israel. It tells us of our, you know, of our what's going to befall us in the last days. For instance, Simeon and Levi. Simeon are the so-called Dominicans. All right, that's Simeon, and Levi are the so-called Haitians. And it say Simeon and Levi are brethren, and that represents that them being, of course, they're all brethren. All these are all brethren, but they're going to be closest together, right? Which entail the Dominicans and the so-called Dominicans and the so-called Haitians are brethren close together. They lived on the same island, but they were put there by two different conquerors, the French and the Spanish, right? Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations, all right, and that's from their weapons of choice and their spiritual belief system. You know, voodoo, hoodoo, Santa Maria, you know, and they have a through Esau Edom, they've been fighting against each other, amongst each other, because they have no knowledge of who they are. But here, now now the truth is coming out, declaring the end from the beginning. Right? Who else? Judah, Judah's so-called Negroes here in America. Zebulon, because of the ships, the ports over there from Guatemala. Well, it's not. Guatemala to Panama. Yeah, the Panama. The Panama Canal. Zebulon. It says, shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for a haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. All right. Then you have Issachar, right? Like I said before, the so-called Mexicans. As strong as an ass couching down between two burdens. And not to be, funny, but anybody can tell you how hard our brothers, the so-called Mexicans, work from sun up to sundown. And all the work they do. They be on the roof. They be, in the field, construction sites, anything. And they find it good. Let's see what it say. He say, and he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulders to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. All right. And what's the so-called Mexicans known for? They bust their ass for very small wages. Until they come over here and get Americanized, right? And they're like, man, we ain't going out there. And y'all got the problem. Y'all got the nerves to say that so-called Negroes over here in America, is spoiled. Nah, anybody comes to America be like, hey, man, this some bullshit. After a while, because we see the oppression. We see, oh yeah, y'all got us for it. Y'all had us for a minute, but nah, everybody see the oppression. I'm gonna skip past Dan because there's no really he's not in Revelations. We're going to 19 Gad. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. That goes to the so-called the Native American Indians. Okay, so-called Native American Indians. That's Gad. Because when them bastards came over here, Esau Edom came over here, they tricked them out of their position. They tricked them out of the land. They killed our brothers. They pushed them on reservations and bullshit, which is pretty much just a ghetto. Reservations ain't no different than the ghetto. And then they slapped these titles on us. Okay? Indian, which means savage. And black, which means void of light. So on and so forth. But that was a part of the curses. If you go to Deuteronomy 28, it tell you that was a part of the curses. That we were going to be called proverbs and bywords. All right? Naphtali, okay, let's go to Asher. Asher means happy. It is from Colombia to Uruguay. Then you got Naphtali. It's from Argentina. Yeah, from Argentina to Chile. And if you do on a lot of these the Southern American culture, if you go and do some research on the background, and I've seen a couple of videos out lately, a lot of their descendants or their ancestors, and even those that are still in that land, a lot of them are dark-skinned people, really dark-skinned people, really, really dark-skinned people. All right. Now, just because they probably plaster the more light-skinned versions of the Northern Kingdom, because as it's written, what's that in Joel? Let me see. Is that Joel or Hosea? I believe it's Hosea. Let me see. Hosea 7 and 8. Ephraim have mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. And when they say Ephraim is the king of the northern tribes, or the northern kingdom of Israel. Right? When it was split in two. Ephraim is the king of the northern tribes. All right? It said, Ephraim have mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned, meaning that he, if you bake a cake and you don't turn it, you don't flip it, it's going to remain, it's going to be dark on one side and then it's going to be light on the other side. It's going to stay light on the other side. You know how they used to bake cakes back then. Nowadays you put icing on it, all that shit, and it don't really matter at the end of the day. All right? It's a cake not turned. Going back to Genesis. Just a minute. Post Shannon Sharp. And then we get to Joseph, which his two sons is Manasseh and Ephraim. Manasseh is the so-called Cubans, right? That's where they dwell at. And Ephraim is the so-called Puerto Ricans. It's lucky. And it says Joseph is a fruitful bowl, even a fruitful bowl by a well, whose branches run over the wall. And if you look in America, especially here in Orlando, I don't know if they all Cubans and Puerto Ricans. Of course, I'm sure some of the other Northern Kingdom is among the so-called Spanish-speaking tribes out here. You know, the so-called Spanish tribes out here. But Ephraim, it's plenteous, a fruitful bowl. I am fruitful. That's what Ephraim mean. I am fruitful. So, the Northern Kingdom, it's a lot. It's a lot of the Northern Kingdom inhabiting, especially Florida, America. You go down to Benjamin, it's the last one, right? Yep, Benjamin right here is shall raven as a wolf. All right. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. A ravening wolf. If you hear in their songs, oh, that's the West Indians, right? Benjamin's the West Indians, you so-called Jamaicans, and those islands. And you hear through their songs, there's a ravening wolf, and I was always spiritually drawn. I ain't gonna say always. I'm gonna say when I got to my late teens, I became spiritually drawn to Benjamin, to Benji, right? To a lot of so-called Jamaicans, because I came down here probably I got Benjamites in my family. Literally, I got Benjamites in my family. I was raised up with the Roaches, the Roaches. They would call. They stayed right behind. Oh, matter of fact, they stayed on Jackson Street, right behind Roosevelt High School. Michael Jackson Street. That block. They stayed right there behind Roosevelt High School. We used to go and visit them all the time. My cousins, can't forget about them. But as it go to verse 28, all these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is that their father spake unto them, and blessed them, every one according to his blessing, he blessed them. And he charged them and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people, bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron and Hittite. All right, but that was the decree that was going to be given to us as a prophecy of who we are. And here's what I like to always go to. I know if y'all know me in my lessons, this had to happen. Psalms 83, and I'm gonna just take the first 3 parts or 4 parts. Starting at verse 2, it says, For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they hate thee. And they that hate thee lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. We were hidden. How were we hidden? Because we didn't know this. We didn't know this. Black people are the descendants of Shem, but we're not black. That's one of those proverbs and those bywords against us. We're not black. All right. It's already going to 2 minutes, right? But it says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones, right? They said, "Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel, or Yasharallah in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, Yasharallah, which means He, Prince of Power, may be no more in remembrance." And that's what they did. That's why they called us all other kinds of names. And that's all the other nations. So all the other nations got to pay for that. All you other heathen nations got to pay for that deception. Y'all, what the Lord say? Africa, all y'all bastards, man. Thou consented with a thief. Thou consented with a thief. That's in that Psalms, I believe. Psalms, yep. Psalms 50. Yep. When thou sawest a thief, thou consented with him, and has been partaker with adulterers. All right? I'm talking about Esau, Edom. Let me see. Let's break that open. Talking about the wicked, Esau, Edom. Here, let's go here. Yeah, this is actually the precept you can say to Psalms 83. It say, "Our power, our God shall come and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him." You go back to 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Talking about when Yahweh shall return. He's going to have, man, he's going to just look, and it's like these people going to be burnt up on fire. Have you ever seen this movie? It's called Firestarter. Ooh, Firestarter. It's about this. I forget the name of the characters and everything like that. But it's about this man and his daughter. And his daughter had these like these special spiritual powers, and she could just set things on fire by looking at them. If she get mad enough, she just stare at them and just whew, like the people get put on fire. That's gonna be Yahweh Shemel Shah, but 10 times more. And Lord willing, we be a part of that elect number to get those spiritual powers, man. We gonna be on it. We gonna call us fire starters, like they got that movie Brightburn. We be fire starters, man. You know, the Lord's word, knowing His word right now, that's enough fire. That's what's burning this place up right now, right? The word of Yahweh Shemel Shah, as written in 2nd Thessalonians chapter 2. You know, that the son, the perdition gonna be revealed. You know, by the word, the fire of the Lord through his prophets. Verse 4, "He shall call to the heavens from above and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me." That's the elect of Israel. "Those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice." Those the elect of Israel right now. That's making the covenant. That covenant that Yahweh Shemel Shah is going to come and bring, right? On his election, those that have been ordained from the beginning, that's going to be drawn back to Yahweh through Yahweh Shah in these last days and time, the final captivity of the children of Israel to serve our enemies. That's written in Deuteronomy 28, right? And I'm gonna play a little bit of this clip, man, because he says some stuff for the elect to stay encouraged, and y'all download that and y'all listen to it, and y'all eat the meat and throw out the bones. All right, "Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice, and the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for the Most High is judge himself. Salah. Hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel, and I will testify against thee, O I am your power, even thy power. O I am the power, even thy power. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings to have been continually before me. I will take no bullock out of thy house, nor he goes out of thy foes." I should jump down. Yeah, I'm going to jump down because that's where I want to go. Oh, to the elect, this is what we're going to be doing. Verse 15. Call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. So you gotta have the names of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You gotta have his name. How else you gonna call him? And how else is he gonna hear you? And he don't hear sinners, so you're gonna have to be putting off until Yahweh shall return. This grace period is the grace period to put off from our sins to the best of our ability through him, because we can't just put off our sins by ourselves. We're being washed through his word, and every moment, every strip, every ounce of dross, every ounce of disgusting, filthy, unworthy piece of corruption. That's what's the word? That's not decaying, but you can say that too. That's tarnishing us being that fine gold or that silver, right? Or those beautiful jewels. It has to be purged from us before we can get into those chariots and before we can get into our escape vehicles. All right? Yahweh Shai is our escape plan, and that's the only escape plan we got. We're not getting into no boats and no ships. We're not going underground. We're not digging no bunkers. We're not trying to get in no submarines. None of that shit. Truly, through faith, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is our exit plan. There's no other way out of here. No other way out of here. Again, verse 15. Call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. But to those that put us in slavery, check this out, verse 16. But unto the wicked, the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shalt take my covenant in thy mouth? Yeah. If this guy, if he's not a Jake, if he's not a Jake, then he's a part of the wicked. When he was here, though, what was he doing? Creating rivals and telling everybody about the name of God and Jesus, or falsely prophesying, calling on Jesus, got everybody calling on Jesus. He was doing all those. I remember those. He was having those revivals and everything where people was sick or they couldn't walk and also blind. He was doing all these fake ass miracles. Yeah. Again. But unto the wicked, saith the Most High, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shalt take my covenant in thy mouth? Especially when you're saying the laws are done away with, right? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee, when thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. All right? And who's those thieves? Amalek. The Amalekites, the small hats, all right? They paid for those ships, those slavery ships, for the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians to be shipped from Spain to Africa to all them islands I named earlier, from the West Indies, all to South America, from Panama to all over the place, for money. For money and merchandise, hard slavery, hard work. Wall Street was created through the blood, sweat, and tears of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. And the Lord is saying, I'm going to save y'all. I'm going to recompense your enemies for everything they did against you, and y'all can't get over that. Y'all going against the Lord, so y'all also are deemed to be wicked. When thou sawest a thief, then thou consented with him, and has been partaker with adulteries. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son. Okay? Yeah, and that slander is going into him being a devil. Being a devil. Slandering on the children of Israel. That's in the Revelations. Right? He's been a slanderer. Lucky. I need to get a little rest before I go to the plantation. But I'm about to get off of here. Okay. Oh wow. I want to get this. I'm gonna jump down. Oh, um, verse 21. These things hast thou done, and I kept silent. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. He gonna set who in order before thine eyes? The Lord's elect, starting with the 144,000, as we were getting into in Revelations, right? Revelations. He's gonna set them in order. What was that? 12? No. It was Revelation 7. I got it down. Yep, Revelation chapter 7, right? Yep. Revelation chapter 7. He's going to set them in order. He's going to get them right. They're going to start rehearsing the righteous acts. Right? As written in Ezekiel chapter 9, where it says that he's gonna place a mark of exemption upon the forehead of the men that sigh and cry, that the angels don't touch them. Leave them alone. Don't touch them. But then after the hopeful elect, starting with the 140,000 men, are sealed, then another angel is going to be sent after him, and the angel is going to be sent after him. After the elect will see that mark of exemption, then the other angels are going to come and bring destruction. The four sword judgments of destruction, pestilence, famine, and the sword. The Lord is and we getting closer and closer into that time. If you don't have the faith of Yahweh Shemiyah Shah working with you, it's going to be hell on wheels coming back. I don't know why I keep on saying that. That's the thing. It's going to be hell on wheels for you. You know, and I ain't talking about a place where you go and burn. No, hell meaning destruction, death, and ultimately the grave. The grave, death. And I'm not talking about you ain't not going to be buried under the ground. It's going to be so much death. It's going to be body to body to body to body that if you're alive, the Lord will have to put a special spirit on you to endure. Seeing all the dead bodies from left to right until those missiles get shot. And in that same hour, the Lord going to rescue his elect. Well, here it is. Revelation 7. And I'm going to start at verse, let's start at verse 5. You know? No, I'm sorry. Verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, right? That mark of exemption written in Ezekiel chapter 9. I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of children of Israel. Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph was sealed 12,000, which is Ephraim and well, you got Manasseh up there, so that's Ephraim. Were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000. All right. And after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our power, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah. Right? And that great multitude is the rest of the 1/3. is the rest of the elect of Israel. All right, which no man can number, of all nations, right? Because they're gonna be called from all nations. The Lord's gonna take. Let's get it to bring some understanding and kindreds and people and tongues. Because like I said at the beginning of all of my lessons, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, because our teachers, being fervently wonderful teachers through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, teaching us the truth. I say the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, West Indians, Haitians, and the rest of the speckled bird. That's the Lord's heritage. The speckled bird meaning different looks from all different walks of life. The rest of the speckled bird. All your other heathen nations, all those that may look like the other heathen nations, but your bloodline go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through the seed of your fathers, right? It said, which no man could number, of all nations. Let's get this. It's Jeremiah. Yep. Jeremiah. That's one. Jeremiah 32 and 37. Behold, I will gather from out of all countries, whether I have driven them in mine anger, and in my fury, and in great wrath, and I will bring them again unto this place, and I will cause them to dwell safely. So to all the nations, the seed of your father has been spread through the seed of the seeds of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob have been spread to we're all over the world. We're as the sand of the sea. We're all over the world. But the main salvation and the main destruction is going to take place here in America. Right? And the thing is, y'all waited. Y'all waited for this guy. Y'all wait for these people that look like this to tell y'all what time it is. Then y'all want to get on the bandwagon. But no, check this out. Check this out. Isaiah 10, 20. Ooh, that remnant. The 144,000, the 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, and that great multitude that's going to be called from all nations, all kindreds, all tongues, that are Israelites, a remnant will return. Right? As we just read in Jeremiah. It said, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, who is Israel, shall no more again stay upon them that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. That stay means like to trust. No longer stay.
Strong's H8172. Sha'an.
Outline of biblical usage: to lean on, trust in, support. All right? We no longer need Esau Edom to tell us. We don't need his validation. We don't need TV. We don't need the president. We don't need any other religious people to tell us what's going on. No longer trusting in Egypt. No longer trusting in Babylon. No longer trusting in America. Or her principles. Everybody see the bullshit for what it is now. But especially the elect see the bullshit for what it is. But on top of that, more than just that. But shall stay. What's that mean? Trust, depend, right? But shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. We're gonna worship the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua in spirit and in truth. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power. For thou, thy people Israel, is as the sand of the sea, Yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness. For the Lord power of hosts shall make a consumption, even determined in the midst of all the land. Yeah, he's going to take care of this. He'll destroy all this. Destroy all this. This Egypt. America is known as Egypt. Spiritual Egypt and Sodom. But I'm going to play this a little bit, man. And I just hope this lesson is edifying to the elect of Israel. Endure, Yahweh Shah endure. Let's go. I'm just play like 2-3 minutes of it. Billy Graham.
The truth. Because once you know it, they don't want you to know the truth. Because once you know it, you can't be controlled anymore. You can't be broken anymore. You can't be lied to anymore. The world has spun a narrative for so long, telling black people you come from nothing. They say it so loud, so often, you might start to believe it. But the truth is older than their textbooks, stronger than their institution, and deeper than their lies. You are descendants of Shem, not cursed, not lost, not forgotten. You are from the same lineage that shaped nations, built civilizations, carried wisdom through fire and exile and time. That bloodline, it survived wars. It survived captivity. It survived being scattered across the earth. And it's still here, running through your veins. You wonder why they target you, why they fear your voice, your strength, your resilience. Because you carry something ancient inside you, something they can't replicate, steal, or destroy. You carry the memory of kings and queens, of architects and scholars, of warriors and healers. You carry the beginning of stories they wish they could erase. Every time you rise up, every time you dream bigger, every time you walk with your head high, you wake up that ancient DNA inside of you. You remind the world of what they tried to bury, and it terrifies them. See, they'll try to make you think that your history starts with chains, but your story began with crowns. They'll say you came from the bottom, but you were born from the first. They'll tell you your future is limited, but your past says otherwise. You were made for greatness before anyone could even try to define you. You don't have to ask permission to be powerful. You don't have to beg anyone to see your worth. It's already yours. It's already written inside of you. So when they try to measure you against their standards, remember you are the standard. When they try to put you in a box, remember you were never meant to fit in their boxes. You were meant to break them. The blood of Shem, the legacy of visionaries, builders, leaders, it's in you. It's undeniable. It's unstoppable. Walk like you know who you are. Speak like you know where you come from. Move like your ancestors are standing behind you, because they are.
That part. I was do right there too, man. It ain't too much. I hope they don't trip on it, right? There ain't no music in the background, nothing like that, so they shouldn't trip on it. All right? And these I had went through some of these comments, say my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. People are opening up. People are waking up, not opening up, but waking up. All right? They say the truth will always be revealed. I am a man. I am black and proud. God bless. Some people got a lot to learn still. But we not black, man. I've always known we are a great people. That's why we are hated. Thank you, Father. We are royalty. Teresa Boykin. Yeah. That's all, man. I'm going to leave it right there. This is really inspiring, motivating, and truthful. Billy Graham is one of the one of the bold, courageous, and truthful preachers to live and walk on the earth, on this earth. This is exceptionally brilliant. Yeah, but if y'all keep on calling on Jesus and things like that, man, to a lot of these people right here, they still haven't really came into the truth. They haven't really, been converted to the true gospel of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. Unless they repent and the Lord open their eyes and they be converted, and they live here in America, they're gonna be destroyed. But with that, I hope this lesson is edifying to the elect of Israel, you know. Until next time, you know. Until next time. Again, let's give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Rachak Kodash, and double honor to the elders and apostles of the great millstone, Kwam Yasharallah, Wa Abba Baba.